Okay, so I changed my trip up a little bit. I had said I wanted to come up north and up by Petaluma and bring some necklaces to my ex, and because his brother-in-law has got some issues. So, anyways, I came up here, and he happens to be going to Spokane, so I'm sending him with him to take to the kids. And I'm just going to stay up here on this farm for a couple days and then head back. This farm, I'm going to do some footage and stuff and show you. It's so nice. It's so crazy too, because so many farms are having so many problems. So many people just with their backyard gardens are having so many problems. Wait till I show you this. I mean, it's my ex-husband, and I've talked about before, like, it was his dream to have a farm, and he is such a green thumb, but oh my gosh, wait till you see. It's crazy. But I've got this little guest house to myself, and, well, with Stella, she's just struggling. So I was going to tell a couple of some of the stuff about that, and some stuff about the drive and things I was thinking about. So, but I'm going to stay here a couple days, and then I'm going to head back, and I think I'm going to split it into two. And I'm so bummed because my one granddaughter who wanted to go to Mount Shasta with me, because it looks like I can go right through Mount Shasta, and I was thinking I'm going to stop a night and stay somewhere. So I was thinking I'll get a room there. Maybe I'll even go and look around and then leave the next day. I'll have to figure it out, because if it takes me to get there, because I don't want to just spend the night and then get up in the morning and go. I want to see some of it. But anyways, I've got 18 hours still to drive to get home and figure out that whole thing. But I'm not going to go up the other direction. So today, since I was going up to Petaluma from Newport, so that's essentially like from LA to San Francisco. And so that freeway, mostly you're on the 5. And so I took that one, but after you hit from here, the traffic only just keeps getting more and more and more, because the worst to me is like through Tacoma and Seattle. It's horrible, so horrible. Like, you can be stuck there for so long. So I don't know, I'm gonna look over the route and stuff. Right now I'm just super tired. So last night when we went to the thing, she was just all wound up. She was just like freaking out. And my phone was totally dead, because that was our whole day of just like, find something to do. Well, it's kind of hard to find something to do when it's 104 degrees outside and you have a big old disabled dog. You can't get out of the car. I was like, what the hell? So I was kind of limited over what I could do. But so went to the ocean in the morning, and she just keeps getting closer and closer. I know. Just rest, honey. Went to the ocean in the morning. She couldn't get out of the car, so I made her a little place in the back, and she laid out there, laid in the back of the car. And just lay down, honey. Oh, she's stressing me out so much. So we went, what was I talking about? So when we went, so all day long we had to kind of just hang out and find stuff to do. And after we went over and saw the place and stuff, it was like in a big center, kind of like a whole bunch of different businesses, and in the middle had a courtyard with fountains and all sorts of little things for dogs to walk around. So we just stayed over there and hung out for 4 hours, but my phone went dead in all that time. So when we went over to the place, and it's all particular about in the room, because it's quantum, it makes a difference over what energy you bring in. So I was being mindful of that. Like, so I didn't just bring my phone in there and sit and do a bunch of recordings and stuff. I just went in and kind of showed it. And, but this is how she was at first. And the lady was like, oh, you got to have it be calm and don't be doing any gymnastics and stuff. And she's just panting and panting and pacing. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my mind. And I was like, okay, I'm going to just be all worked up. I'm just going to be so stressed out. And so I kept just like going back over my intentions, I just kept thinking about him and thinking about him and thinking about him on repeat. And so then because she made this whole thing about like you have to set your intention and all your words make a difference. Then you have to go in and visualize it. You have to see it, see the outcome that you want, what you want, your magical thing that you want. You have to see that. And she said, you keep seeing it until you get super excited, and then you'll feel it inside of you, and you'll feel excited. Then you start giving gratitude, and then you just go to sleep. Well, I couldn't just go to sleep. When I had said about these things pulsing, what I had noticed when she had come close, I could feel that in the room. I could feel it when I put them under my bed at first too, the pulsing. If I can lay in my bed and if I start thinking about them, I can feel them pulsing. So going in there, and there was so much, it was, I felt that same pulse. It was like this pulsing in the room, and it was like super intense. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is intense. So while I was laying there trying to set my intentions and stuff, I was thinking about, you know, like the different things I want to heal or whatever. And I started feeling them, like things happening in certain places in my body. I was like, whoa, this is so trippy. And so I was like, this is weird. So I started like talking to my guides and stuff, and to, you know, the ones who are helping me through, you know, whatever this is, my mission, you know, the guides. I think, you know, I was having so many thoughts again while I was driving, because I think that, I don't know, I'll have to think back on the one about the guides. But I sure was thinking stuff about the cars. The cars are an extension of us. The cars are, I mean, just the cars people pick and everything. But it is like an extension of us energetically. And that was one of the things too on the interstate where I could feel the intense energy from people in their cars and stuff. It was weird. Like, but I know, you know, because when people say like, oh, you know, well, they'll say it about aliens, they'll say it about angels and different things traveling in orbs. But the orbs are kind of like their own craft, their own Merkaba, their own ability to put themselves in something. Like we're in something in the avatar. But then you can go into the car. There's something about shoes even, like about, you know, when you get shoes and you use those as your movement and stuff. And then it's like you go up. And there's something tricky about the cars. Like we should be able to do more, but it's like they keep us limited with the cars. But all this is going to be changing with this quantum stuff taking off and this Tesla energy, and everything for the new age is going to be different. It's not going to be like, you know, these old gasoline jalopies going around and stuff. So, and one of the things too while I was driving, the propaganda is so annoying. The whole way you're driving, they've got construction set up everywhere. In every place, they have, this is your tax dollars at work. Oh, be proud. These are your tax dollars. It's like, fuck off. And your fucking propaganda bullshit. We know where the tax dollars are, you lying bitch. And the roads are so bad. Everywhere I went, the roads were so horrible. And, you know, it is all part of their infrastructure. It is, they don't put the money towards the right things. There is no reason we need all these roads. And they're putting all this money into the roads when all they got to do is put the money into hovercraft. We don't even need roads. There wouldn't even be car wrecks all the time. We have sensors to make them not hit into each other. Like the whole thing so that they can make money off of petroleum and plastic and controlling us and enslaving us instead of releasing technology, because none of this stuff is necessary. So I think it's also going to be a part of everything that's going to fall on its face, all of this stuff. And also while I was driving, the people, they drove another level. Like I am just flabbergasted at the rudeness And the speed, you know, like I like to do road trips. I like to drive. I like to be out and drive and enjoy it. And there's some intense driving over around here, like mountain range after mountain range. And I guess I got to do a couple to get home. It's like, fuck. Oh my God, I can't believe how intense it is. Driving them, it's like, oh, that's why I'm staying a couple days. It's just like, I just need a break. I just need to unwind a little bit. The driving has been so intense. It's just like, oh my gosh. It's definitely meeting some of my fears. Just like the cliff driving and stuff. Oh God. Every time I come up to something, as soon as I see the ground fall, the side thing gives me a heart attack. It's like, oh my God. But this was what was really, really tripping me out too. So while I was driving, and you know, when I first got up in the morning, you know, I'm trying to pay attention to everything. Like, what's different? What's different? Well, for one thing, yesterday, from sitting out in the sun all day, my face was beet red. And I had put that intention to have it not be that way. And I don't think it's near as red like now as it was yesterday. It was so red. But I was putting that in my intentions. I was doing my eyes. I was doing all this stuff. And one thing, I have been kind of in communication with my body for a while, talking about what I want to do in the med beds and stuff. And one thing I know for sure is the med beds, the military grade ones, are going to be different than this. Like the military grade ones, you could go in for 12 hours and grow a limb back. It might be 20 hours or something, but there's significant change. Like a girl can go in with short hair. This is what I've understood. A girl can go in with short hair and say, I want long hair. And at the end of her 12 or 20 hours that she comes out, her hair's long. So the stuff is a lot faster. Like the things that get fixed in your body, like, you know, the implants will go out of my chest and it will go back, but then it will make the cells go back to being healthy again. So all of that stuff happens. So these ones, to me, how I kind of take them is, this is kind of like what everybody needs in their own home. They need this setup in their home. Everybody needs this in their house, this higher frequency, because it would keep people in a better, their bodies in a better position to heal themselves. So, you know, these ones, oh, she's laying on this thing. She's so emotional. These ones aren't that kind of grade. These ones definitely seem to me like, well, just because I know that there's ones that are so much better. And these ones seem kind of like you would have to do some upkeep. Like it should be in your house. Like it should be a regular thing. Like when that girl, the woman who, the developer in the interview, when she was talking about that doctor who set up a whole, I think he got a 24 unit in his home. And I think she said he's got 2 units in his home, but he goes in them every day, and his hair went darker again. He lost the gray out of his hair. He's like 85. He can beat everybody at tennis that he plays. He used to have, like, I don't know, tennis elbow or some knee thing or something. All of that stuff went away. So that's what I think is kind of like the upkeep, kind of just to keep your body healing and keep your cells from being stressed, because that's what they're doing. So this is what I, oh, let me finish that too. Okay, so when I got up in the morning, my eyes felt clear. And I thought, okay, so my face is less red. My eyes are more clear. I feel good. I feel good. So, you know, I'm just going to keep working on my stuff and keep the crystals under my bed and do all of that stuff and keep working on, you know, and seeing, you know, how things develop, how they get better or whatever. And Stella, I was having, you know, more hopes or whatever. But when she got up, she's still, this side of her face is still super droopy. She's still, you know, listing while she's trying to walk. She can't stay straight. She kind of falls over real easy. She falls when she looks down. So she's still having a lot of struggles, you know. And the woman told me that another couple brought their sick old dog, or their sick big dog in. And she said it got better for a while. Then they came, it started doing bad again. Then they came, brought her. And she went in again and did better for a while. But then she ended up passing. So, you know, I'm just going to keep doing it and keep trying to get, I'm not going to drive all the way back, obviously, to go do it again and again. But I got the crystals. And I'm just going to try and keep them in my house. Like, I'm going to set them up around my house. Because it has something to do with how they bounce off of each other with the energy and frequency. So I'm going to kind of set up a grid in my house. And that's what I think, like, that should be how all of our homes are designed, with these frequency grids to keep us healthy. But that could also just be part of this reality that we're in right now, that it's more necessary. And it wouldn't be when the beast is taken down. Because, so this is one of the things I want to talk about on this drive. This was fucking insane. So, because I was really thinking a lot of stuff about this California thing while I was driving. The way they were driving, the conversations that I heard, because I was by myself. I'm just laying there on the beach by myself. And there was all sorts of people and conversations happening. And, you know, I mean, people want to be heard, so they talk loud. So I was hearing, it was just like, all it was about parties, and oh, I'm gonna go to this party tonight, yeah, we're about to go over to that party, oh yeah, there's drinking games, oh blah blah blah. That's all it was, just constant. And these were all these volleyball people. It was a huge crowd of volleyball people, and apparently they get together and just play each other. And I don't know if you have to join in, and then there's money at the end, and they just keep playing down. I'm not sure, but it was definitely something that's organized, and they all do this together. And because they're all like knew each other and stuff. So, and there were several of these set up. So it must just be something that's popular there. I don't know. But a lot of beach yoga was going on too. But anyways, and this one woman who was walking up right when I was walking, and I said, something about, because it was so overcast, I said something about, oh, when does the sun usually come out? Like around 11 or something? And she was just like, 11 or 1 or something, whenever, just maybe never. And she had like this thick New York accent, and she just was so, you know, like, you know, don't bother me. And it's just weird, because I am like somebody who just like starts talking to people, like starts talking to strangers. I'm very chatty, and it's weird because I'm more of a what is that called? The what is that? Internal and external. Like I'm more of the one that's internal, more of the thinker, and you know, I don't mind being by myself and thinking, and I can't think of what it's called. Extrovert and introvert. So I'm more an introvert, but I'm really like an extroverted introvert or something. I don't know, because I'm not uncomfortable talking to people. I'll talk to whoever. I'll start talking to strangers. I don't care. I just am friendly. And so, you know, I don't know. I just find it weird when people are so like bothered that you spoke to them. That just kind of went with this whole thing where I was listening to people's conversations, and they all just sounded so shallow. And so it reminded me so much on Saturday Night Live when they do that skit with the California people, and they're just like, oh my God, yes, what should we do? Let's just go down there. It's happy hour. You know, it's just like, oh. And I was thinking, okay, so whatever they've done to these people, this is zombie. This is already zombie, because they're not thinking for themselves. Like I heard them have a whole conversation about, yeah, I'm gonna go do a COVID test so I can get positive. I'll take 4 days off work. It's just like, oh my God, those are full of poison. But you know, they don't know. They don't care. They don't think. They don't think about it. It's like, oh yeah, you go do that and then you get off a couple days. And driving through what these people are willing to accept as their life, I kept being just mind blown. Like, I can't believe people are willing to live like this. This is crazy, especially for how much money that they all have to pay and the traffic and just, there's no community. It is literally just a rat race, and that people are herded. When I was going on the freeway, on the interstate, I felt so much just like a herd, like a stampede. And that's where I started being like, you know, people used to take horse and buggies, and, you know, you would be in this kind of relationship with your horse. You'd feed it, you take care of it, and do all that stuff. And your horse and your buggy get you around everywhere. And now we're using these cars. But it's still the same thing. We still have to have a relationship with it. It's an energetic relationship. And some people, you know, they don't think anything's alive. They don't think any fucking thing is alive. It's weird. It's just weird. So, like, you know, when the things come into my head, like, they don't think this is weird. They don't think this is weird. Yeah, it's like, oh my God, it's crazy. But they're just completely cut off. They're just completely consumed with themselves. And they want to control their lives. They have not released control. So they think they have control, and they're fighting this frustration, trying to make what they want to happen, instead of understanding that you're here for a purpose, and, you know, start understanding what your purpose is and stop being shallow. And that's the beginning. So anyways, I was like, okay, so something is already going on. And the overcast and the colors and all that stuff. And I was like, but the poisons in the air. But then when I was driving, like, you know, even when I lived in California, it was always just kind of accepted, like the, what did they even just called it something? All the pollution, it was called something. Like, oh yeah, that's just the blah, blah, blah. I can't even remember what they call it. But it is so much worse. Oh my God, I could not believe how much worse it was. The whole way driving until I got to, even when I got close to Oakland, there was clouds down on the houses. Like, they were seriously being fumigated. Like, it was fucking insane. And everywhere I could look around, I could see the levels of poison. And then you could see the sky, like, way up above. I mean, it was so clear. You could see it so perfect. There was no, like, oh, maybe. In the haze. The haze was so thick to drive through. And I was like, oh my God, the pollution is disgusting. And right when I very first started going, I hadn't even been on the road very long. And I drove past a big giant 5G tower, and all of a sudden I started coughing. I couldn't stop coughing. And then right when I started coughing, it felt like I got sprayed in the eyes with like pepper spray or something. And I was like, what the fuck? And this happened so many times on the way. And it was so painful. So painful. And right away, and I know what they did with those lasers. They had to do something to the top of my eye, where it feels like an open wound. Because I said, even if I get tears in my eyes, like I watch something emotional and tears will get my eyes, it will burn. Like the salt from my tears will burn. But this was like beyond that. This, I really think it was like pepper spray, kind of what I imagined, because when it would start watering really hard, so I would do the cough, and then right away it felt like this pepper spray went in my eyes, so I started watering really, really hard. And when that happened, all of a sudden my eyes started like rolling around. I couldn't see. They were like spasming or something. It was the weirdest thing. And I was like, what the fuck? And I start trying to pull over. Like, I'm going 75, 85 miles an hour with these people going 95 next to me, all over the place. And it's like, oh my God. And I couldn't see. And I start putting on my brakes. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is fucked. And that happened, I think, like 10 times at least. It could have happened 16, 17. I don't know. It happened so many times I couldn't even believe it. And so then I'm like, okay, I know that happened next to the tower. So then go up further, happen again. And right away, I look over, tower. Happen again, look over, tower. Look up. Kept happening and happening and happening. And I was like, okay, so all this pollution, like everybody else doesn't have like this barometer in their eyes. Like I have something that says, hey, there's gas. I mean, you need a fucking gas mask here. This is Agent Orange shit, you know, this is another level. And so then, and that the towers does something. It feels like needles going into my eyes, these gases. And I know other people, they don't notice it. Like they may start coughing. Oh, I think I got COVID. Better go do a test. So then after I did, I was going through them and that kept happening and happening. It was scary too, because my eyes would start going crazy and I couldn't see. But I started thinking, okay, this is definitely all put this together, because there's so much pollution here. I mean, above what I can imagine any other state has. You know, even with how much we're all being sprayed right now to try and catch up, apparently, with California. How much ever they have is beyond. Like, it would take us, I mean, I lived in California 30 years ago, and it was already a problem. So we've got a lot of catching up to do. So theirs is already, they're like the beta center of like, what happens if you just poison them in the air and then turn on those things. And then it starts doing something, because it would make me cough and it would feel like something stabbed into my eyes. And so I was like, something's going to happen here. There's definitely something big is going to happen here, because they're setting them up for something. You know, I was thinking, please stop. It's really windy here. And there's lots of birds and stuff too. She's always so nervous. So, anyways, so I was like, okay, they're going to do something here. Like something big is about to happen here. Something. I think California is definitely going to be one of the places that gets struck by something big, because it is bizarre. Just the cars and what people are into, and they're so shallow and stuff, and it's like, so they've just kind of deadened their brains with all the chemicals or something. I'm not sure. There's something strange, something very strange, and it's all linked together. I feel certain about that. And that I was, when I was driving, I was just like, fuck, I gotta get out of California. This is fucked, man. So I've raised my vibration there and then come out here and I'm completely under attack. When I left there, my eyes felt pretty clear. There was some little floaty things, but everything looked really clear. And I thought, oh, well, maybe it's just because I just got up, you know, I'll just have to keep working on it. I still got to do more detox and stuff. And one thing too, this may be TMI, but she had to go out and go to the bathroom. When I got up and went to the bathroom this morning, before we left, when I just started doing the cleansing, people were talking about the worms and stuff, and I didn't see anything. Today, after laying in that thing all night, I swear to God, I didn't get out a microscope and look at stuff, but I swear to God there was dead worms. I just feel certain of it. And I was like, oh my gosh. So the cleanse stuff, like the diatomaceous earth or something, like, I don't know if that killed them or if it's the two things together, but there's, you know, I heard that you have to keep detoxing, like your body will keep detoxing and stuff, but I swear there was weird stuff that came out of me. So I don't know. But I feel, you know, I feel good. I mean, I do have to be realistic about Stella, obviously. I mean, she was a big giant dog and, you know, she's had problems her whole life. So, you know, all I can do is just keep trying to take care of her and keep trying to get her healthier. And, you know, just accept, like, her and I had a contract or a role in each other's lives, and it's not going to last forever, apparently, even if I wanted to. So, anyways, what else was I going to say about that? So I do think that there is something cleaning out detoxing coming out of my body, apparently. But the tear thing, I feel certain that the frequency does something to the ones in the sky, but it's doing something. There's definitely something happening, because I paid attention every single time that my eyes started doing that. There was one of those there, and the toxins were so bad. And once I got up to where it was, I think it was like 30 miles outside of San Francisco. It was like right before I got in Oakland or something. But anyways, it was right around there, and you come around this one road, and it's really beautiful, and you see all these houses, and they're going like up the side of a hill, and it's kind of like a peninsula or something. I don't know, like it's a big part where the water comes in, and the clouds. While I was driving and I could just see the clouds, I was like, those do not look like clouds. This freaking seriously looks like the footage I did the other day at my house, when I said this is like the fog or something, the movie The Fog. Like all of this atmosphere is down on the trees. It's like we're being surrounded by it with all this white sky and stuff. It's creepy. That looked the same as this fake kind of cloud situation. So then it had these gray ones, it had weird colored ones. It looked weird. And then when I came around the thing and I saw those clouds were like down on the houses. There's no clouds above them, no clouds around, just this weird, strange cloud just sitting down on top of these houses. And they're obviously poisoning these people to death. And there's something that's going to go down with the towers here, no doubt about it. I don't know what level's up in every single place and stuff, but this, I'm going to pay attention the rest of the way. I mean, it may be up on everybody's. And it may just burn my eyes more here just because there's so much more toxins in their atmosphere. It's mental. So I don't know. I definitely think something, there's certain places that are going to be struck harder than other places. And there's certain groups of people, like in that Anunnaki book, that said they're not going to be moving forward with the rest of us. Definitely the kind of people that I saw were just like out of that book, the Anunnaki one, like not meeting criteria, like way too shallow and way too much. Like you have to want to be in the age of Aquarius. You have to want to work on yourself. You have to want to get along with people. You have to want to be your best version of self. Like it has to be a part of your desires. It's a part of your imprint that's showing you that you're going into the age of Aquarius. Some people are not going, and that's why I said everybody's got to listen to themselves, because everybody's here learning certain things. Like no matter what, everybody's learning something, even if their whole thing is at the transition when they do the review and they go over it and then they learn, and then they can just be, go wherever they want to go. But for these core lessons that people are here for, not everybody is going to be moving ahead. Like when we were driving too, and all the cars and stuff, I was thinking so much about the cars and thinking so much about how we are really an extension, like our cars are an extension of us, but we don't even realize it. Like I can feel like with my car, like that there is just how I started noticing with my phone. Like she's really trying to get along with me. And the car is constantly trying to prove itself to me. Like, like the things around me are showing me all the time that they're there for me, And I know that there's something to this thing with the cars being an extension of us, but we don't even realize it because they're selling us this lifestyle that we don't even realize who and what we are and how we actually interact with other things. It's like, this is one of those things, like I can completely understand it and I can see it, but it's really hard to explain, especially because you think like some people understand this on all different levels and may not even understand it on the level I'm talking about. But it definitely felt while I was driving like some of the people are, like if you think about a video game and they're at a certain level where they're just trying to do all of these different things, by reading the signs, by I'm not a video game person, but I know sometimes like it will have like, oh, here's your tools, go over here and pick up these tools or something. And so they have certain levels where certain things are available to them. And then with, but this, now we're leveling up. And so to me, like, it kind of feels like my higher self sometimes is telling me they're driving the car. I don't need to worry about it. They're driving the car. It's me thinking that I need to do all this stuff. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I just know there's other forces at play. There's other beings that all of the stuff that we think it's a certain way is just from our limitations, is how we look at things. Because it's so much different than what we think, I believe. So I think, some of those people is like in the video game of life, they reached a certain level, and that might be the only level they're going to get during this, because this is a limited time. This isn't like, this is the end of an age and the beginning of a new one. So the one age is ending. There's, if you don't level up, you don't get other chances. It's like you level up, but you're leveling up because you know you're supposed to level up, because that's what you're here for, is to go to the age of Aquarius. But some people don't have that desire or whatever, and they're here to learn other lessons. And they may only stay at that level in the game. But when you go up to the next one, it's like, I know that there was somebody else in control of my whole thing, of my whole trip. Like, I know it. Like, it is, the leveling up is realizing that somebody else is in control. Like, just what I keep saying, like about destiny and just everything that we do, we don't have the control that we think. And so many people are just fighting for control over their lives when they don't realize that's not what life's about. You're not here to control it like that. You're here because your higher self is experiencing it. And, another thing too is, like if you think about, because this is something that was shown me. So if you think about an emotion, say like an adventuresome, a state of being, a way of being, like somebody who's, likes adventure or something, then you think about I don't know if I can explain this at all. So it kind of reminded me of that movie. It was a kid's movie where the girl had emotions, and she, so the movie is about her emotions talking to each other, and they're kind of running her. Like, so the emotions, and everything's micro, macro, but the emotions, if you think of those, like independence, then everyone who carries that in them is in your soul group that is independence is important to them. Like they've gone through that experience. So you could know everybody who is from that certain group or that experience, so that you would have a soul connection with everybody who also went through that learning. So it's kind of like college courses or something, but like you have certain things in common with other people, if that makes sense. So kind of like, the land of adventure, and, we all went to Adventureland, and we all had experiences there, and we all carry that inside of us. So we all have this in common that keeps us. But see, there's so many different aspects to self. That's only one aspect. But that is how you can have something in common with this person, but not everything in common with them. You see what I'm saying? Like, I know I can understand this, but I don't know that I can explain it very well. But if you see what I'm saying, and there is something to this whole thing of like us, our connections, and it's kind of like in a body, just like in that movie. And it's kind of like those emotions that group us together, that create the whole solar system. And so like we all came from, you know, like in your body, you have the liver, the kidneys, the lungs, and all these different things going on. And so for the soul in the solar system, then it's the same kind of thing. Like you can come from this area where this is important. And I think that is like right now why we have so many people who come from different lands or come from different DNAs and stuff that are here. And that's why it's so important for us to come together in unity to share information, because that is part of the leveling up. But, you know, not everybody is here for that. And there's going to be something that's going to happen. Something's going to happen that is going to, you know, possibly create more separation, where some of those people will go, you know, in another direction or get every opportunity to wake up. But there's so much to waking up. Like, I know people waking up to all different things, but there's just like certain things they're not awakened to at all. Like medical tyranny, not awakened to at all. And then, you know, though that could be that because they are going to have to face the repercussions of that. Like, it's just so hard to know, like, because I do that a lot. Like, I'll watch certain, like, try and figure out, like, oh, what's going to happen with them? What's going to happen with them? You just can't figure it out. And I know a lot of people have a lot of family members and stuff, and they're freaking out. Like, you know, I don't know at this point. Like, I didn't think it would go on this long, and now, especially to see how some of these people are just completely satisfied with life. Like, this is great. No problems. As long as there's a happy hour somewhere, everything's cool. It's like, well, something's gonna fucking change. So, you know, and there's so many people who could not, and they probably don't have any desire to take care of themselves. And, you know, not everybody wants to meet that challenge, apparently. Some people are just satisfied to, every fast food place is still packed. Like, restaurants, all in California, just packed. And then when you really see how they herd us into these areas, and, you know, they tell us that it is overpopulated. It's no, your city is overpopulated when you got 6 fucking lanes of a fucking freeway, and we're expected to drive, and it's insane, and you got people who are just whacked out. Like, there was one part where we were going, and we went around this big turn, and all of a sudden it was like 6 lanes again, and there was like all these cars, and everybody just kind of went slow, and we were all going like 65, and all of a sudden this red hot rod car, like a Trans Am or something, it was so loud, came flying up from behind. It had to be going 100, just right through. Like, I was really expecting to see that car crashed, like, but there were so many of those. It seems like the ones that drive like these sports cars, or like that movie, there was like 10 of those car movies with Vin Diesel. A lot of those people that drive crazy drive those cars, but there was definitely a certain personality that tended to drive like that. It was insane. I couldn't believe it. And it was, in just the way some of the people would just pass you. Oh my God, how aggressive some people would be. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. It's like they could care less. It's like, that is like a zombie to me. Like, it was weird. And I just kept on thinking, these people are definitely, if something big could happen. Like, I think something big's going to happen, and it's going to wipe out a bunch of people. Like, I think there's going to be a, like, boom, whole bunch of people gone real quick. Just like how they said in the tribulation or rapture or whatever. So I think a bunch of people, and they've showed it in so many movies. Like, that is something they've shown over and over in movies. So I think something's going to happen, and, you know, if it's going to be you know, a hurricane, a volcano. I mean, it could be anything. It could be just the chemicals in the goddamn frequency. So whatever is going to happen, it's going to be a bunch of people are going to go, and that's going to wake up a bunch more people, and a lot of panic is going to set in, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of fear. So I think, you know, there's going to be some more stuff to go through, that's for sure. It's not going to be like, this isn't going away. It's not like this is going away. I mean, this has got one place to go. And it's the end of this, and something new is starting. And there's some of us who are here to, it's kind of like the seed, the new place. And it's deeply imprinted in us. And we can see it. Like, that's all I can see. That's all I can think of. Like, I know what I'm here for. But, you know, some people are not. They're here to experience a lot of other stuff. And there's a lot of other stuff that I think is going to go on until. So, I don't know. But I definitely feel like California is definitely in for some traumatic shit, I think, is going to go on here. So, I don't know. We'll see. But, I mean, it seems like I haven't been on anything to know anything what's going on, really. I mean, I don't know what's going on in New York. I don't know if the cameras are back up. Obviously, there was planes flying. And so I don't know if the planes just went down one day. I don't know if they're bringing pilots in from other places, or they're just, I have no idea what they have going at this point. There's this, to me, they're spit gluing, trying to hold their reality together, and it's, you know, coming apart at the seams. It's fed on itself. They're parasitic. You know, there's nothing else for it to feed off of. We all are waking up, and the ones that aren't, that they're gonna go down with the system, you know. But it's not like they're gonna, I mean, they're gonna go, they're just gonna be done with this part of this experience. So I don't know, you know, we'll just have to see. But there was some more stuff that I want to talk about. That drive today, though, that really had me going, especially with the eye thing. Oh my gosh, and noticing the frequent next to the towers every time. That was really tripping me out. I'm really hoping once I get home, I'm going to see some more improvement with mine and with Stella, and I'm going to keep doing the detoxing and stuff. But anyways, I don't, until I, and then, you know, I mean, my house could be just full of chemicals at this point too. I mean, when that was one place where I saw them spraying. The places on this whole trip I saw them spraying was around my house when I left, and in California when I was pulling in from, because I came up like the back way through the desert. And then all of a sudden it was just, you know, for a while it was really clear, but then it started seeing spraying. And then when I talked to him, he was like saying something about, yeah, they have to keep bug spraying or something over the farms or something. It's like, I don't believe that lie. Oh, maybe we're gonna go out for another little walk. But anyways, hopefully some of that stuff made sense that I was talking about. But I will show some more tomorrow, and I'll be able to record. So I'll talk to you later.